we raise this memorial to Canadian warriors. It is the inspired expression in stone, chiseled by a skillful Canadian hand, of Canada's salute to her fallen sons. In that spirit, I unveil this memorial to Canada's dead.
High on Vimy Ridge, they remember over 60,000 Canadians who perished in the First World War, the war to end all wars. The Battle of Vimy Ridge was one of the most outstanding victories for the Canadian Army and a defining moment for Canada. From 1914-1918, more than 500,000 courageous Canadian troops fought for freedom, an enormous number for a small fledgling nation. They accomplished tasks that no other Allied nation could, but the cost was heavy. 1 in 10 brave Canadian soldiers perished, 1 in 3 wounded. On November 11, 1918, at 11 in the morning, the Great War ended, a date and hour that would not be forgotten. Those who returned home bore not only the scars of battle, but also the resolve that the peace they had fought so valiantly for must last for many, many years. In less than 20 short years, that everlasting peace was over. Germany marched unopposed into Austria. War is imminent and public opinion throughout the world is alarmed. In September of that year, British, French, Italian, and German delegates met in Munich. Chamberlain, the British Prime Minister, announced, "Hitler claims that Germany has no plans for further territorial gains and that an agreement had been reached."
When I was a little boy, I used to repeat, if at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again. That's what I'm doing.
Making a farce of that agreement, Hitler pounced.
Vor uns liegt Deutschland, in uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland.
Adolf Hitler inflamed the crowds by promising a strong Germany and vowing to get back the territories lost to Poland following the First World War. The Germans made 15 bombing raids on Warsaw, and ground troops soon overran Poland. Within a short time, the Jews of Poland were being forced into ghettos and labor camps. 2 days later, France and Britain declared war on Germany. The Second World War had begun. It would last for 6 long years. As Canadians went to bed, a radio message was sent to the British Commonwealth.
His Majesty has just proclaimed that a state of war with the German Reich exists as of tonight, September 10th, 1939.
The news of war came as no surprise to Canadians. Veterans from World War I and young men were already queuing outside recruitment offices. The whole country became involved as the critically important industrial and agricultural industries expanded to support the war effort. At the start of the war, Canada had a small navy numbering 13 vessels, only 3 air squadrons, and 7,000 inadequately equipped soldiers using World War I-era rifles and tactics. However, by the end of the war, Canada's contributions would be felt on every front. In September, the first convoy sailed from Halifax to Britain, and for the next 6 years, Canada's merchant marines would supply the European war effort with countless convoys across the treacherous North Atlantic. While Canada was mobilizing all its resources and setting up its defenses, Germany tightened its grip on Poland, invaded and occupied Holland, then Belgium, and France. Three weeks after the fall of France, Adolf Hitler issued orders to invade Britain. The British people suffered enormous damage and casualties as the Luftwaffe bombed all parts of the country. The Allied air forces, including airmen from Canada, the United States, Britain, Australia, and New Zealand, struck back and eventually achieved supremacy of the skies over Britain and Europe. On the morning of August the 19th, 1942, after years of training in Britain, 5,000 troops of the 2nd Canadian Infantry Division, along with 1,000 British troops, attacked the French port of Dieppe on the English Channel coast. The purpose was to make a successful raid on German-occupied Europe over water, and then to hold Dieppe. No one knew as the boats neared the beaches in the brightening dawn that the necessary fire support was not there. The German defenses were on the alert. Dieppe's beaches became a death trap, a killing ground where the soldiers of the Canadian 2nd Division were easy targets for the Germans. The results were disastrous. The raid produced a tremendous air battle. The Allied air forces provided protection for the ships off Dieppe from the German Air Force.